Oh, okay. Like maybe I should like learn some more about this. Like tea is actually really cool. And there's like a ton more that goes into this than me just like trying to white label it from some other tea company somewhere else. Like I want to like get my hands into everything and like mix it myself and like know where the ingredients are coming from.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy from GhostCultMag.com, and I am thrilled to be joined today by Crucifix of the Satanic Tea Co. or Tea Company. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. Super stoked to be here finally.
Yeah, man, this is we've been circling each other for a while since you appeared on the scene, and A Celestial Beating is your upcoming EP. We're super pumped. We talked offline. We got to help promote one of the singles and video tracks, and it's been wild watching your journey in this genre. I think some people are just super. They see you and they hear the music and they're super into it. I think some people are just captivated by you. You have a phenomenal social media presence, and people are just in awe of you, which is really fun to watch because I feel like no genre is less self-aware than extreme metal, especially black metal fans and bands have no self-awareness that some of this shit is just ridiculous, but obviously some of it is very meaningful and sincere also. And I know I saw some interview went past me today where it was like, I miss, maybe it was Phil Bozeman of Whitechapel, good band, fun
Yeah,
live, super fun live. But he was like, I miss when metal, it's all memes and silliness now. And I liked it when it was more serious. Like, Guy, you do like whole concerts that are like nothing but strobes and then darkness. Like, if you don't understand that that's also like completely hilarious and goofy,
yeah.
like you're from Tennessee and you play like, started out playing like extreme technical death metal and now you play deathcore. So not that the
Totally.
music is silly or they're silly people, but I'm just saying like loosen up a little.
No, I saw that. I saw that today too. I was like, hmm.
Yeah, I'm not calling them out. Good band. But I just think it's
Oh
fun.
no, yeah.
I like that you like, I feel like very few people get it. Like they get, you take your craft seriously. This music is taken very seriously, but you also have a lot of fun. You have a fun, you're, fun with, like subverting people's expectations on either side of, non-metal people and metal people. And I just appreciate you and your spirit.
Or yeah, well, I appreciate that a lot. That's like kind of yeah, the whole goal of what we're trying to do, I guess, is just like I like having fun and like I just want this project to be like a reflection of just like me, I guess, like through and through. And I think like I love metal. Like even like hearing Phil from Whitechapel say that, I'm just like it's kind of interesting. Like especially like early Whitechapel, probably like those vocal patterns and like style of vocals have like other than like the Black Dahlia murder probably have like the biggest influence on me. Been trying to do like my whole life in like the bands that I've been in. So it's just yeah, it's like kind of funny to see his take on like the meme metal, but yeah, or just like try to do it, have fun at the same time.
Indeed. If you've ever done the bree vocals, you have to laugh a little bit. I mean, like some of this
Yeah.
shit is ridiculous. But like instead of which came first, the chicken or the egg, which came first, the corpse paint or the tea? Because I want to know.
The tea definitely came first before the corpse paint because like before the corpse paint, I was like, I guess like before that, when I started the tea company, it was like the first time like I'm pretty like introverted person and like putting myself out there is like not really like something I was really used to doing apart from like being in bands previously to this. Like being on stage is like the only time I was like kind of extroverted at all. So like when I started this, it was like the first time putting myself out there in any sort of capacity that wasn't a band at all. Cause like at first in 2017, it was just a tea company. So I didn't tell like my friends, I was like embarrassed to tell my friends about it. Like I think like maybe three people, my roommates knew what I was doing when I started selling the tea, just because like that's how like self-conscious I was about it. And then I started like wearing a gimp mask to like be a character, just so like I just didn't have to show my face at all because I just didn't want people to know it was me. Because I was just yeah really self-conscious about doing like a new thing, and like I didn't really even know that much stuff about tea at the time. So like I was just really yeah not really about putting myself out there or like my face on it. Then yeah, I guess like getting just like wanting to branch out or like the character of Crucifix. Like sometimes he's in the gimp mask, sometimes he's in this corpse paint look. So I guess like it wasn't until like a couple of years into the tea company that I started wearing corpse paint. Then especially like once we started on TikTok, I think that's when like I was like putting it on like on TikTok live and like I was like, oh, people kind of like this whole thing and that it's not necessarily black metal. But it just gets people talking more that I'm just doing this weird thing with death metal, I guess. So that's pretty much how that went. The tea came first for sure.
Nice. You show up with some blood on you and some corpse paint and any association to Satanism, and you definitely wake people up. But I'm a tea fan, and I was excited to nerd out with you about the tea
Yeah.
because I used to be a vocalist in a band, not a very good one, but a long time ago. I had a whole career in music, and beside doing music journalism, and tea is my lifeline for shows. And I'm a big fan of like licorice teas and throat coat things. But what's
Yeah.
funny is not throat goat, everybody, throat coat. But what's funny is I didn't know this until a coworker of mine pointed it out to me and said, hey, you know, if you look on the ingredients of most commercial teas, they're not teas, they're herbs. They're not leaves. You're getting
Yeah.
like herbs in a bag and you're being told it's tea and it's not true tea. And then I went with a friend of mine who was like, took their tea very seriously to a fancy tea shop, and we got the tea accoutrements, the ball, and all the little things, and actually picked out blends of teas. And it was like a revelation to me. I was like awoke, like when I heard Master of Puppets for the first time or Cannibal Corpse. And then
Yeah.
I had this tea, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had. This is amazing. And tea became like a ritual for me to have every night or weekly. So what was the moment for you where you were like, oh, tea, of course?
Like it wasn't until like after I started the tea company, honestly, because like we started out just selling t-shirts. Like I wanted to sell coffee at first, but I thought coffee snobs would. I was like already self-conscious enough about the whole thing. I was like, but there's also tea snobs at the same time. But I was so ignorant to the whole thing. But like probably like a year or two into it, like I was just giving my tea out to like random stores in town once like it was picking up a bit on the tea side. Another local tea maker here in Calgary reached out to me because I guess some cafe in Calgary here chose my tea over their tea, and they were like a much bigger brand. Not even like they were still a pretty small. Like they're a much bigger brand now as far as tea goes, but like at that time they were still pretty small, and they were like just wanted to know like who was the Satanic tea company that beat my beat me out for this like cafe, because like the cafe is called I Love You Coffee Shop, and her branding is like much more geared towards that. So it's kind of like odd that they would choose Satanic Tea Company. But yeah, like I didn't know what I was doing at all then. And then Alexandra from Sargessa Tea, kind of like we have a similar background. Like I'm Trinidadian, she's Trinidadian. We both started our tea companies kind of at the same time, so we just like kind of had a meeting together. She was kind of like opened my world a little bit to like the different possibilities and like different types of sourcing ingredients, and like how the importance of like knowing where your ingredients are coming from and stuff like that. So I think like probably 2000, the latter half of 2018 or early 2019 when we met was probably like, but I was really, oh, okay, like maybe I should like learn some more about this. Like tea is actually really cool. And there's like a ton more that goes into this than me just like trying to white label it from some other tea company somewhere else. Like I want to like get my hands into everything and like mix it myself and like know where the ingredients are coming from. So yeah, I would say like that would be like a big turning point for me with tea. It was like even like a couple of years like into the tea company.
Nice. Yeah, I sense that you take this very seriously. The blends are very personal to you. I don't think you would put out something that you didn't personally vouch for and enjoy. Maybe not every, just like beer, maybe not everyone is for you, but you know what that goes into them and what kind of tea fan will like them. So, you know, I
Totally.
think that's really, there's a lot of care put in, the same care that you put into the music. So, and listen, I don't want to skate past the fact that you've shared that you know, you it kind of, a little bit came from, you know, came from a place of awkwardness and unease. So I appreciate you sharing that. It's not easy to talk about these things. We have a calamitous time in the world right now. You mentioned Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm still really banged up and hurt over the loss of Trevor all this time later. And I used to see him all the time when I lived in Brooklyn. And like, you know, there's not enough people talking about just their own issues openly. So thank you. And I, whether it's the music or the persona or the tea, whatever it is that helps you find your place that's cool and comfortable for you, I'm happy about it. So then there's the music, right? So like this music is unrelenting, and I think it's probably limited. You know, I think people do latch on to the image and assume it's going to be pure black metal or something, but it's definitely a lot of different flavors. I love that there's a couple of straight up death doom songs on here, because that's like, to me, a growing genre that doesn't get enough love. And there's been some sick releases already this year. So I love that this, you know, we'll get into the EP proper a little bit more, but just in general, your music, you know, this is not your first rodeo. This is a new release for you, but like, I like that you incorporate all these different styles, and you pay attention to each one of them. There's not just like, oh, we're doing that for isn't that clever? I put in the black metal tremolo pick there. No, like, you really seem to care about the compositions too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, why don't we shift over and do a little track by track association, whatever you feel like sharing. A Celestial Beating is a clever pun, right? Celestial Seasonings is a very famous tea company. Also, no tea leaves in Celestial Seasonings tea. My beloved Yogi tea, I was lied to for years. Again, just herbs, no leaves. But
Yeah.
what a killer EP, first and foremost. And of course, it begins with the opening track, Purgatory Precursor, which is also a great name. Great, anything with alliteration, I love.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just like I don't know, just like seeing it's like our first EP. It's like I just wanted to like do all the things. Like I wanted an intro. I wanted like a little interlude. So like Purgatory Precursor, I think just sets the tone. There's not really like much vocals or anything. It's just a heavy riff played with different backbeats to it. But then the end, I think it's like kind of like a nod to just like the theme, I guess, of like the EP, which is like horror-esque. There's like just like a little clip from Skinamarink, which is also made here in Alberta, like 3 hours down the road in Edmonton. And like I was just like, I think like right before we sent all that stuff off for mastering, like that movie was like made popularly available everywhere, and I finally got to see it. And I was like, I have to have like a little clip from this movie in there, just because it's like being from Alberta, the movie, like all the visuals and stuff like really related with all of us, I think, and like just being from Edmonton and stuff, like it had to be in there. So that's pretty much Purgatory Precursor. And like I think just like a tone setter, no bullshit, just
I dig it. Septic Savior is the first full legit song.
yeah. Septic Savior, I guess, is more just like just I guess it's like more just like teen angst like flavor, like a feeling, just like fuck you, like to all the stuff that like a lot of that, like that song is just about like my youth growing up in like a super religious household, just being told all these like very specific things that I just like kind of go along with. And like once pretty much I started listening to metal and like getting more different aspects of life outside my little Christian bubble, the more you get exposed to, the more you're just like, maybe everything is not exactly how I'm being told things are going. It's like I guess like more on the tech deathy side of things overall. But yeah, I guess it's like just pretty much just like a fuck you to like the people that were trying to tell me how to do my business, I guess, every day. And like we're doing all sorts of fucked up shit. I guess because like the church I grew up in they were like in the news and like the newspaper all the time, just for like all sorts of different scandals, I guess. So it was like kind of a way to grow up, people saying they're holier than thou, but at the same time they're committing these fucked up shit with like all sorts of stuff, I guess. That's essentially Septic Savior is your savior is like not so clean after all.
It sounds like it set you on your path, that experience. The next track, I love this name, Shit Karma. What an incredible title for a song.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if that would be like the right one. Everyone said that was the one, so we kept it. Shit Karma is like also like another just like I guess like imagination or like a more elaborated version of like a situation when I was growing up, just like an authority figure in my life. Just like I guess like another thing is like holier than thou, like saying do as I do or do as I say, not as I do, because they were doing all sorts of fucked up shit. But just them just like getting their just rewards in the end, I guess like a version of them just like someone fighting them and it's like ending their life because of the atrocities they committed against another person, because you push someone to the limit so long and contradict all the things that you're saying. Like it can only go on for so long before someone stands up to you. So that would be Shit Karma, I guess, in a nutshell.
Nicely done. I kind of want to put on a Tom Araya voice for this next one, like Chemical Warfare, but it's Chemical Paradise.
Yeah. Chemical Paradise is the interlude. It has a sample of a test patient from the US government that's trying MDMA for the first time, I guess. And he's pretty much just like, it's like kind of just like a wave of emotions, I guess. And it kind of reflects, I guess, the lyrical content in the album, which is like mostly a wave of emotions to either like mostly sad and angry, I guess, is the general theme. But he's pretty happy, and then at the end he's like kind of emotional. He doesn't know exactly what he's feeling or like why he's feeling it, and I think that's like pretty telling to how I was feeling as like a young person like leaving the church and like the religious situation that I was in growing up.
The latest single is the next track, Dissection of Christ.
This one's like, I guess, like more just fun. I guess the last two are more just like kind of fun. The Dissection of Christ is pretty much just about like what if the people who crucified the Romans who crucified Jesus, instead of just like putting him in the tomb and like waiting 3 days for him to magically come back out, they took him to their whatever their scientists were, I guess, back then, and just like cut him up until they were trying to find like what made him so magical. If there was like something inside of him that was like so wonderful and godly that they could maybe like make a little tea and drink it and get the power themselves over the people that he had. That's like essentially like the vibe, just like pulling Jesus off the cross, getting him on a slab, cutting him open, and then just seeing what he's really made out of.
Might not have been a bad idea to cremate that dude and smoke his
Yeah,
ash.
that would also be sick.
Just putting it out there. And then finally, the title track, which again, super proud that we got to help premiere that to the world, a Celestial Being.
Yeah. Celestial Beauty, like you're like honestly the second person I've talked to that's even like thought of the funny kind of like pun in it. Yeah, there's like one magazine that like no one's even like mentioning it. Like even my personal life, like no one has said anything about it. So like I appreciate you catching the Celestial Seasonings jab a little bit. A Celestial Beauty is just like what if we were so powerful that we could climb up to heaven and like kill God ourselves. Like that's like overall the vibe is just like man becoming so powerful that we could kill our own gods. There's not like a whole lot to it, but I guess it like all stems from like the anger and like turmoil that I was put through growing up in like a really fucked up church type situation, which I don't think is like the most average church. Like I'm not like knocking anyone who is religious, like you do you, but I just think like it was an especially toxic situation that I was in led me to this path, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty much like what if we could just climb up and kick the shit out of God? That's basically a celestial beating. But at the same time, it's just like a funny jab at Celestial Seasonings because it's funny to me.
It's funny to me too. I'm a 50-year-old metal journalist. Puns is all I have, bro. All I have is dad jokes, and I'm not a dad, but dad jokes. Thanks for sharing all that with us. I do want to say also it's a pretty short EP. I like that it's like just very thoughtful and economical, and there's no like 10-minute no black. People hate that terminology, but like atmospheric tracks. You're not trying to be Freezing Moon Mayhem and stuff. But I like this. I like the array of the different genres represented. How like heavy it is, appropriately. Vocals are great, of course, and just sick all the way. So I like that. Like to me, this gives an idea of where you could take it. But I like that really none of the tracks are very long. I think it's just like here we are.
Totally, yeah. I think we just wanted to get something out. Like I just wanted to like we had the couple singles last year, and then like even like this took. We were like originally planning to put this out sooner, and then just talking to different people, there's like you just put out put out all the singles and then put out the EP in September, like as a full thing, because that's like I guess like the way things are going for putting out music when you're just starting out or like whatever. So like I was like, okay, I'll just put out singles. But yeah, like I just wanted like to have like a block of music for people to like really get what we're trying to do. And then when we're in the midst of like writing a full length or like at least 9-song album right now. So to get like just something people can sink their teeth into and like more than just 2 songs from last year. But yeah, I think like it'll be like a similar formula of shorter songs, like nothing over. I think 3 minutes 30 is like by far the longest song on a Celestial Beating, and it might be a Celestial Beating. But yeah, like I'm not really into like playing super long songs. But yeah, I think people can expect like more of that for the full length.
Right on. And I mean, like I imagine you would typify the band. If someone asked you to describe the music, you would say death metal or black and death metal or a multitude of genres. You wouldn't just say one genre, right?
No, yeah, it's like I tell people mostly it's death grind. Like if you put Napalm Death and Cannibal Corpse together, like maybe that's ish, like the closest I could think of. Like because of like some of the imagery, like maybe there's not the most black metal influence except for like image, like some of like maybe the highs in some parts. But I don't want to like go too far into that world because people get real touchy about black metal or like blackened stuff. Because I just like think it's like Death Grind is like a pretty good overall. Like I feel like every song has like a death grindy feel at least at some part, whereas some parts might have some other songs might have like more of a feeling of other parts or genres. I think Death Grind just like good one for all of them.
Awesome. I back that fully. And then just for a final question, I was compelled to ask this after seeing you're so good at social media, and you put a very, I think, a little bit vulnerable post out there. So the Section of Christ came out as a single, and you had to explain to your mom about it. She was excited that you had a single coming out, and I
Yeah.
imagine she's supportive of your music. But you had to describe to her what the song was. She asked about the song. So share, if you want to share that. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I think our audience would too.
No, yeah, like growing up, me and my parents like obviously rocky relationship with like the religion thing, but like now that I'm like grown and shit, like I think there's like they're just down to like to have a relationship, which is like pretty cool. My mom, since I like started the tea company, even like switching to Satanic Tea Co, she's always been like supporter number one. Like she's super Catholic, like tells me she's praying for me, like not like a you're doing things wrong, I'm praying for your soul, like or anything. Like I'm sure she is probably, but like not she doesn't like come off that way to me when we're talking and stuff. She'll try and buy tea off the website all the time, and I have to like cancel the order and refund her money. I was like, I'll just send you the goddamn tea, like please. Yeah, like and she just like wants to be involved. Like she just like doesn't matter what it is. Like she just like really fan number one, my mom. So like just talking to her about the track, I'm pretty like upfront. Like I feel like I had to try and hide who I was growing up around my parents like a lot because like I wore like tight jeans, I wanted to wear like eyeliner, I wanted to listen to like death metal and like metal and like non secular or secular things, and that was like not cool at all. Like I would get beat for these things. So like I didn't want to like show that side. But like now I'm just like, you get what you get. Like I'm not hiding who I am from you. Like if you want to be on board, that's fine. And she's like totally on board. So I'm just like, but it's still like these certain things where I'm just like, this is kind of like out there for talking to my mom about this because of like I just know what she's like. But she was like, it's fine, it's cool. Good luck with everything. Like I hope the song goes good. Like she'll like I don't even like she follows like she's on it. I think she's just on Instagram just to see what me and my sisters are up to, and she'll like I'll post that we're like putting out a song, and she'll like text me on like the release day, like happy release day, and like there's like really supportive things like that, which is like pretty awesome. But yeah, that conversation was like I don't know. It is yeah. Sometimes the conversations get a little out there, I guess, with like calling the Section of Christ. But yeah, she took it with stride, and she was happy and supportive, or like she at least she said she was. So that's all I could ask for, really.
Props to your mom for taking it like a champ, and
Yeah.
props to you for being comfortable as a grow. You're growing, and that's important too. Just a last little two-part question to end off with: of your teas, which is your personal favorite? And what is the perfect dipping thing to go with your tea? A cookie, a wafer, maybe a communion wafer? Probably not.
I feel like yeah, every time I get this question, I'm just like I'm such like a basic bitch when it comes to tea blends. I'm just like I like my vanilla Earl Grey flavor like as like an everyday, or like the Crucifixion of Christ blend, which is vanilla Earl Grey just with like crushed up espresso beans, which kind of gives it like a more like darker, richer type of feel. But yeah, like I'm super vanilla when it comes to like the my favorite like go to overall. Like I love lots of teas, but like that's like for my blends, it's like those are the ones I go to. For dipping, like I've never like I usually just have tea. I'm not like a big I never dip anything in it, or like I never like have food when I'm drinking. I'm kind of like weird that way. Like I never eat whilst I'm drinking something usually. So like I don't dip anything. I think a communion wafer would be funny. Oh, cats are screaming. But yeah, like, I think communion wafers would be like the funniest, but a communion wafer in the Crucifixion of Christ blend tea. But yeah, typically for myself, I don't eat anything while I'm drinking tea.
Maybe we can get that in a future in a holiday set or something, Christmassy, because or Easter,
No, yeah,
of
we actually,
course.
yeah,
Right
we
in time
ordered
for
like communion
Easter.
wafers.
Right in
We
right
have
in
communion wafers on order that we're gonna like include
Oh,
with.
sick. Yeah. I mean, like there's no more pagan holiday than like Easter bunnies and eggs and things, by the way. But they made it about their of course they made it
Yeah,
about their savior. But listen, we're gonna link everything in the description. I'm excited to get my hands on some of this tea at some point. Got to get it down here to America to me, but
yo, just send me your address and
oh no, I'm
I'll
gonna
keep going.
pay. I'm not. I'm the opposite of your mom. I'm not gonna take it for free. I'll pay. I'll buy it.
Right, well, I'd be happy
And
to.
we'll do maybe I'll do a video like I did. Metallica sent me their whiskey, and I did a whole video of me getting smashed, drinking the whiskey, and talking about it. But I
That's
love to
awesome.
talk to you again sometime. I really appreciate you. Good luck on this EP. I hope you get everything out of it you're trying to, and I certainly am already getting a lot out of it, and I really appreciate
Sick.
you. Thanks for being in this part of this crazy world we have in metal and bringing your own special flavor to it. No pun intended.
Word, yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging with Ghost Cult. We'll see you soon.
Sick. Thank you.